Hey, everybody. I hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the word. And today, that word is separate. Separate. Now, like it or not, in friendships and life, acquaintances, there are times where you go along right beside each other. And then there are times where the best thing you can do is go your separate ways. Um, Unfortunately, we see this happen in marriage and family relationships as well. That's really a topic for another time. God has called us to be one flesh as a married couple. But there are times too where even outside of that, go beyond the marriage relationship and then look to other family relationships. There are times Jesus says, right, he has come to his coming to earth was not going to bring everybody together. In fact, it was going to bring division. You know, mother against daughter, father against son, and even uh, brother against sister. I mean, even within the family, to separate, have separate goals, separate thoughts. Because in other words, some were looking to God and some were looking to the world. We don't have to wait till Jesus comes to see that, right? We saw that in the beginning when Cain killed Abel, that he had his own plan that was contrary to what God had. Well, here as we continue in the story with Abram and Sarah, as you go to Abram and Lot, now they have these a lot of people with them. They have a lot of herdsmen, a lot of cattle, and so now as they're going out, and I shouldn't say cattle, but they have large herds. And as they go out, it's like, okay, now we can't get along in the same place. So we're going to have to separate. Now, God has called us to go to this place. So Abram, being the man that he is, he actually does something that most of us probably would not. Let's look today. Genesis chapter 13, verses 8 through 13 today. So Abram said to Lot, "Please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Is it not the whole land before you? Excuse me, is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left." And Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go toward Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. Then they separated from each other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord. Now, some commentators will look at this and say, well, if they were already kind of looking eastward, and to say the left and right would have been to go to the north or south parts of the promised land. But what Lot chose was to continue further east and basically go as far east as he could. Now, that's taking some other things, looking at it, trying to get that exact location. But here's the thing: all that aside, what we know is that Lot looked with his eyes. You say, well, wait a minute. That's what I usually look with. No, but he didn't just look to what he saw with his eyes, but what his eyes saw, that in turn made him choose to go to the place that he thought was best because it looked good. Let me put it in this way: the grass looked greener on the other side. How many times have you heard that, the grass isn't always greener? Tell people a lot of times you get over on the other side of the fence, right, where the grass is greener, and we find out that one, they've been using either a whole lot of fertilizer, the grass is painted, or maybe it's just astroturf and it's fake grass to begin with. See, the whole thing is that when you look at this story and you look at the heart of Lot and the things that happen, right? Moses, as he's recording this, he is letting us know that, look, this is before Sodom and Gomorrah was wiped out. But then as you go through the story, you're going to find out that, man, not Lot didn't only move towards Sodom; he ends up in Sodom, and man, even the things that are going on there are just almost even unspeakable. And so he allowed Sodom to influence him. You notice that Moses also recorded the fact that it looked like Egypt. The Israelites would be able to go back and then see that Moses was recalling or bringing back to their remembrance the fact that Lot looked and was reminded of Egypt, so that the Israelites, once they are free from Egypt, that they won't have any desire to go back. But we know as we look through the rest of the Old Testament, that is not the case. But if you also notice that the idea that Lot was looking for the better place, and that Abram, the elder, the uncle, right, the one who had the ability, the authority to say, I'm going to go this way, you go that way. But he didn't. He was humble enough in character, and he was striving enough to keep the peace, that he said, Lot, I don't want us to fight. We're family. I don't want us to fight. So look, you go, you choose, and I will take the other, and I'll be just fine with it. And that's exactly what he did. You find out after this that the Lord speaks to Abram and continues to remind him of his promise, a reassurance to Abram that he has done the right thing. But that word separate for us today, I want you to think about it in this sense. Abram could tell that he had an idea of what God wanted him to do, and Lot wanted to do his own thing. And so, since the camps could not get along, I believe that Abram could already see the strife that was coming. And he said, you know what? When God gave this command to begin with, I was supposed to leave all my relatives behind, and Lot, whether or not that was one that he was kind of taken care of because his brother had died, whatever the case may be, now he's thinking, okay, now we need to separate because we are not going on the same path. And there are times where we do need to go our separate ways so that God can speak to us and so that God can deal with them as well. See, now God deals with both of them, don't get me wrong, but God is going to deal with Lot. God is going to show him the error of his ways. And God is going to continue to bless Abram as long as he keeps his eyes fixed on God and as long as he walks in obedience to it. Today, the only word of encouragement I can give you through all that, I won't say the only word, but one word of encouragement I can give you is just because you and someone who you didn't see eye to eye with have gone your separate ways does not mean that God is not going to use that, and it does not mean that God will not bless it if your eyes are on him. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.